Hello and welcome to another video. Today I'll be drawing Ram from the show ReZero, and she's one of the maid twins from Roswell's mansion, and she's often overshadowed by her blue-haired sister Rem, so I really hope that she'll play a bigger part in the second season. I wanted to make some ReZero fan art because the second season is airing at the moment, and I actually finished re-watching the first season sometime last week or the week before that. And I've been keeping up with the second season, so I was just really excited to make some fan art. There won't be any ReZero spoilers in this video, so you don't have to worry about that, but I probably will talk about a few things that could be considered spoilers concerning Ram's past, but I'll give a spoiler warning first, and a timestamp so that you guys can just skip to it if you don't want to hear that part. When I was watching ReZero for the first time, Ram was actually my favorite character for a while, because I knew that Rem was a really popular character, but she hadn't really done much up to that point, and as Subaru talked more with Ram and got closer to her, I started to really like her. So she was my favorite up until Rem did something that made me really love her, and I've loved her ever since, but I'll save that for my Rem video. Is it weird if I say his name like Subaru? I feel like all American people are like Subaru, but I speak Norwegian a lot since I live in Norway, so Subaru kind of comes more naturally. You know? I don't know if that sounds weird to you guys. It sounds like I'm trying to be Japanese or something. That's not what I'm trying to do. Ram is kind of a sad character in my opinion, because she's inferior to her sister in just about every way. Ram is the one who gets a lot of screen time, and she follows Subaru around throughout the majority of the show, and she's obviously a fan favorite. And on top of that, Rem is a better maid than Ram, because she's much better at cleaning and cooking and just about everything. And because of something that happened in their past, Rem is also stronger than Ram, so she does all the fighting and, protecting the mansion. Rem still believes that she's the inferior one because of things that happened in their past, which I will get to later on in the video. And because of that, Ram has always taken the lead. She's always taken the lead role in their, sisterly bond. So she's generally the one who talks and takes control, while Rem just kind of silently stands by Ram and follows her. So I guess that's one good thing about Ram. Ram was pretty important, in the first half of the first season, and that's why I liked her so much, but by the second half of the first season, she didn't really get much screen time. It was all Rem from that point. So I really hope that Ram will actually get to do more in the second season, that we'll get to see more of her, and, she can live up to her sister's reputation, and she can actually get some more appreciation, because she deserves it. Here's a little spoiler from Ram and Ram's past, so skip to this timestamp on the screen right now if you don't want to hear it. If you've seen ReZero, then... I'm so sorry, there's a plane apparently over us. That was loud. If you've seen ReZero, then you probably remember that Rem and Ram are demons. Demons really have 2 horns, but when twins are born, they have 1 horn each. I'm not quite sure why, but demon twins are usually killed when they're born into villages, but these 2 were kept alive for some reason, I can't remember. But of course their power is, divided between the 2 horns, so if only one had been born, then, they would have gotten all the power, but it's kind of split up since they have 1 horn each, if that makes any sense. Ram was really strong, and her mana, it's called mana, right? I don't know. Her mana manipulation was extraordinary, and she was basically the pride of their village because she was just so powerful. While Rem couldn't dream to do the things that Ram could do. Rem was compared to her sister a lot, so she felt inferior to her, and I think she felt guilty for even existing at all because, like I just mentioned, if Ram had been born without her twin sister, she would have gotten all that power, and she really could have been, a strong demon. She could have been even more of a demon prodigy. And because of this, Rem was determined to get better at other things such as cooking and cleaning, so wherever one of the twins lacked, the other twin made up for. I think it was the witch's cult that attacked their village, and everyone was murdered, and it was just really brutal and awful, and little Ram was doing her best to protect her relatively powerless sister, and she had her horn sliced right off her head. I'm guessing that just completely sucked all the mana out of Ram, and, mana is like their life force, so that would explain why Roswell has to infuse mana in her. I think she can still do small spells, but she's not anywhere near as powerful as she once was. So now Rem is better than Ram at just about everything. And I just find that kind of sad. Ram is now the inferior twin. Though I don't know if Ram actually thinks like this and considers herself inferior to her sister, but at least in terms of popularity and when it comes to just about any task, Rem is the superior one. Okay, the little backstory part is finished now. No more spoilers. So I guess I'll just talk a little bit about this drawing. I knew from the start that this wouldn't be a very good drawing. At least in terms of shading and like saturation and, you know, the colors and stuff. So I knew I was gonna have to tweak it digitally. I've drawn Rem a few times before, and I know from experience how difficult it is to make the coloring of the outfit look really impressive, because I mean it's really just shades of gray. Like, it's just black and white basically. So I knew that the outfit wouldn't look really impressive at all, so I was prepared for that. Plus even the hair didn't really come out very saturated, so that was a little bit depressing. So you'll see at the end of the video that I added the photo to Procreate and I made some changes. I made the hair more saturated, and I think I added some more strands of hair as well. But the biggest change I made was to the outfit. I added some pink lighting to our left side of Ram, her right side. Because the coloring was just lacking and it needed that little touch. So I messed around with the lighting and highlights, and I added the white rim around the skirt and sleeves and so on, that I had purposely left out of the traditional drawing. So I promise that this drawing will look better by the end of the video, so please stick around until then. And I'm probably gonna have to do this with my Rem drawing as well, and maybe even my Amelia drawing. Thinking back, I probably should have given Ram a more cocky expression, because she does come off a little self-centered and like taunting, at least in the start of the anime, so yeah, I guess I could have done that. If you haven't already seen ReZero, you definitely should. It's one of my favorites, and I even gave it a 10 out of 10 on my anime list, and I still stick to that rating. The show really delves into loneliness and like this psychological aspect of things, and I at least really like that. It's an isekai, so the main character, Subaru, suddenly appears in this fantasy world and quickly realizes that he has these sort of save points or reset points in his life, so when he dies, he goes back to that time, and he has to overcome whatever is killing him so that he can actually pass the reset point and stop living, you know, the same days over and over again. What I like about this ability is that Subaru is physically incapable of explaining this ability to anyone. Like, he tries a few times, but time stops up every time, and it actually kills people around him. So he's going through all of this completely alone, and no one knows what he has and is currently going through. So in that sense, it really delves into the loneliness he experiences, because he really is going through this completely alone. Plus, he gets closer to certain characters, and he makes memories with them, and he cares deeply for them. But whenever he dies and resets, he's the only one left with those memories, which is obviously very painful, because he can care so deeply about people who think of him as a stranger. And yeah, at least that made me really sad while I was watching through this. I also really like how realistically Subaru reacts to all of this, because obviously dying over and over again and watching the people that you love keep dying and feeling hopeless because you feel stuck in that endless loop of either you dying or someone you love dying, I mean, it's really traumatizing, and it does things to you. It slowly eats away at Subaru's mind and his sanity, and I just love that. He breaks down at times, you know, he cries, he screams, he tries to run away and give up. It's a difficult and awful situation to be in, so I love that it's occasionally just too much for him, because I think that would be too much for anyone in that situation. And at least I find it annoying when in shows where people are like, oh, I'm never gonna give up, I have the power of friendship on my side, and like, I don't know, we just give up every now and then. We need to stop up and cry and scream about things. I mean, that's completely normal, and I'd like to see that in more shows, so I like that we get to see that in this show, because it really does eat away at Subaru. So yeah, if you like dark psychological fantasy anime, I think you'd really like ReZero. It starts off a little slow and boring, so, you know, keep that in mind, but I promise it does get a lot better, so just get through those first few episodes and you're not gonna regret it. Also, am I the only one that hated the second opening? I absolutely loved the first one, so I was so upset when I heard the second one and it wasn't nearly as good as the first one. I just kept skipping it because I didn't want to taint my memory with it. Because when I think of ReZero, I want that first opening to pop into my mind, not the second one. So, yeah, hopefully I'll like the third one a little more. But I guess it's time to talk about my current art projects. I finished a digital drawing of Mulan, and it's posted on my social media accounts, which are all linked in the description. So, you know, if you want to check that out. I'm debating to start a Disney series where I draw Disney characters in that style, so, you know, maybe I'll do that. I'm working on my Emilia drawing. By the time this video is out, that drawing should be finished and posted on my Instagram account. At least it will be that evening. And the video for that drawing will be out next Wednesday, so stay tuned. I still have the Rem sketch finished, so I'll continue that drawing after I've finished Emilia. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of ReZero fan art. I'm also debating to draw like maybe Felix or a crush or someone. Ooh, maybe Felt. As to what I've been up to lately, I've been rewatching Death Note with my family, and oh my god, I'd forgotten just how good it is. And I've also been keeping up with season 2 of ReZero, which is currently airing, and that's the only things I've been watching lately. Just a butt ton of like art vlogs on YouTube. Lots of drawing, both digitally and traditionally. I think that's a given. I started playing Persona 5 again because I can't seem to just sit and finish games. I'm like almost 50 hours into it, so I'm gonna try to finish it this time. I'll probably make some more fan art of that sometime soon. I'm also playing a lot of Animal Crossing with my sister, and I started playing Mystic Messenger again, so maybe I'll make some Mystic Messenger fan art as well. And lastly, I got into an art school in the city, and yeah, I'll talk about this in a different video where I can go more in depth, but yeah, I'll be moving to the city in the fall. But yeah, that's all I really wanted to say right now. Let me know your thoughts on season 2 of ReZero, or any of your thoughts from ReZero, because I'd love to discuss ReZero things in the comments with you guys. I think that'd be really fun. You know, let me know what you think of this video. Any feedback would be nice. And thank you for sticking around. I'll see you guys next Wednesday.